n8n's new MCP feature has a huge problem that makes it almost unusable if your workflows are doing things like scraping data, dealing with databases, or just in general if the workflow is big and has a lot of nodes in it. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people right now are saying that it is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I don't think that they're giving you the truth. So that's why I'm going to show you exactly how the MCP actually works, why it is such a problem, and what you can do to fix it so you can still use MCP with n8n. But first, I'm Billy Rybka, and I build AI systems that automate 80% of a business so that the owner can actually use their team better, make more revenue, and actually have a life. So in order to see this problem actually occur, we need to jump over into Claude, because this is where most people are actually setting up this MCP. And I'm going to change over to Sonnet because, to be honest, I don't want to burn through all of my tokens for this. So I have this automation set up right here, and it's going to get any YouTube transcript completely for free. And by the way, if you want it, you can just download it in the description below. But anyway, this thing's available on the MCP. So under settings, I have available in MCP, so you can just see it. So I'm going to go over to YouTube and grab the URL of a video. And I think it'd be kind of funny to grab the release of the MCP tool from n8n themselves. And then I'll go over to Claude and say this: use the n8n MCP tool to get this YouTube transcript and turn it into an overview using the YouTube transcript workflow. I'm going to paste it and I'm going to send it. And Claude's going to go ahead and call the n8n tool. It's going to look for the YouTube transcript workflow. It's going to find it right here. And now it's going to actually execute that workflow. I'm going to hit allow once. And look at this. We exceeded the conversation length. Now, I pay $200 a month for Claude. So this is like the max subscription here. And I just burned through 200,000 tokens just like that. Normally, this would never happen because it's a 4-minute and 53-second video. It's probably like 2,000 words, if that. In fact, let me go look at the logs right here because we have the actual execution. So this is what came out. Right? This is not a lot of text. So why is this happening? Well, because n8n is actually returning all of the execution data, not just from the final node, but from every single node that was executed in the workflow. So when we come back here and we're like, okay, this is the output, but it gathered the output data for this node, so barely anything here. For this node, barely anything there. But when we scrape data, right, we have 1.3 megabytes of data. So it also received everything from this. Then it got the same, all of this data, so on and so forth for every single node. So instead of giving us the outputs that we want, it actually gives us the outputs of every single node, and the one we want is also included into that. So we get a bunch of crap, and then the thing we want, which obviously is just kind of a mistake, especially as we are, if we're scraping data, or we're using databases or whatever. And this is a big problem, especially with tools like Claude and OpenAI, which gives us a message limit because we're going to burn through our context windows like it's nobody's business. So if you're using the $20 subscription, it's going to hit those annoying message limits so much faster. Talking about the ones that are like, hey, sorry, no more messages available. Come back in like 5 hours to start using us again. Freaking hate that. Anyway, so you're going to hit that way faster because at the end of the day, it's eating up your context. You love automating your life and your business as much as I do, and you want realistic opinions on stuff, then you should give this video a like and also subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date with more videos just like this. So what do you do to actually fix this? Because we want to obviously connect n8n to things like Claude and ChatGPT and all of those, but this obviously is not usable, right? Especially if we're working with relatively big workflows and there's some data being processed in between. Well, we have to use MCP. But not the new one, okay? Talk about the old faithful one. You might not know what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the MCP triggers. I can't freaking find it. Okay, the MCP triggers. Now, this is my Content Creation Hub MCP, right? This connects all of my content creation stuff to Claude so I can actually work within it and kind of just use Claude as a partner. As you can see right here, we have one of the tools, which is to get the YouTube transcript. And that tool is this workflow right here. So this is the same workflow. I have it set up inside of Claude. If we go down, you can see that I have my Content Creation Hub MCP, and then we have Get YouTube Transcript. What I'll do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to copy this, and I'll start a brand new chat. Instead, I'm going to change it to use the YouTube transcript MCP to get this YouTube transcript and turn it into an overview. And I'll hit send. So it's going to go ahead and actually get the YouTube transcript with our MCP tool that we have right here. So we have the get YouTube transcript, and we see it actually went ahead and it says, hey, it's introducing the new built-in MCP. You know, it's talking about all the different things here that we want. Great. Now, what was the response we got? Well, the fact is we actually got a response, but we got the response that we wanted, which is kind of a freaking crazy concept that we only want the final response. But anyway, so the response is this, right? It's the transcript. There it is. Simply, it's not every execution data. Now you might be thinking, Billy, you're scraping a lot of data. You obviously should expect that this happened. Well, no, like literally it just worked in front of your face. But also, no one designs their workflows thinking that every single node's execution data is going to be sent over as the final output. Right now, it's nice for debugging. Don't get me wrong. That can be really convenient. In fact, Claude helped me debug a problem earlier, and it was super nice because it sent over every single node's execution data. That's why. But it shouldn't be doing that. We want that final output. We don't want all of the outputs. So what I think needs to happen is that there has to be some kind of setting. Maybe it's inside of the actual like workflow settings right here. Maybe it needs to say, what kind of outputs do you want? Do you want the final node or do you want all execution data? There should be a simple toggle. Then it becomes super easy to use and the problem's over and we can fix it. But currently, we have an actual problem inside of n8n with their new MPC. We're obviously moving in a great direction with n8n, right? There's a lot of cool things going on, but currently, if you want to use this in production, I don't think you can realistically. All right, so look, I showed you the problem with n8n's MCP, especially when it comes to scraping things, getting large databases, YouTube transcripts. Well, you know, the really cool thing is that inside of n8n, we can actually get our YouTube transcripts for free, just like I showed you. And if you want to see how to build it for yourself, then watch this video next, and I'll walk you step by step through the entire thing. Till the next one, peace.